I'm going to continue on with the Star Trek demo. Since I did the last part, I added some knowledge modules to the main site, so I'm going to demo using them. The first one I added was properties, so you can do what is the property of object kind of questions. So we're going to do what is the status of the phasers, and then you can also, or the other thing I added was this tell knowledge module. So you can do tell me when event, and I used it in time as an example, so you can now say, tell me when the time is 2 p.m. So what we're going to implement is, tell me when the phasers are armed. We'll add a new character or computer, so we can go, computer, tell me when the phasers are armed. Sulu, arm the phasers. And then Sulu should go arm the phasers, and then the computer should tell us the phasers are armed. So we're going to start with, what is the status of the phasers first? So this one. So we look at the knowledge module. Yeah, so it tells how to set up and use this knowledge module here at the top. So I'll copy part 3, oops. We're in here, we'll just make sure it still works. -Q, what is your name? Okay, so that works. So now we're going to implement what is the status of the phasers. So we get what is the status of we get the what is part from the dialogue knowledge module. So we just have to implement the status of the phasers, which we're going to get from the property knowledge module. So I'll add that to crew. And we'll pull in the properties. And I'll just run it to make sure it works. Oh wait, I got to add it first. Add it to the knowledge module or properties. Right, so let's give it a go. And we'll just use the sentence that comes with the knowledge module, the property of object. The wrong directory, now part 4. Now let's try it. From the right directory. Maybe it will work. Right, there, so that worked. So now we're going to get, we want to implement the status of the phasers. So we have to do whatever it says in the knowledge module, which is what? Make properties an instance of property. Okay, so we use the hierarchy. Property, so status is going to be an instance of property now. And number 2 is make my object an instance of object. So that will be, what is my object? Weapon will be an instance of object. There. So now we can have the status of the object. So let's make sure that works. Ooh, that didn't work. Oh, okay. So it didn't work. So let's debug it. One of the first things that can go wrong usually is operator ordering. There, so if we look at it, it did the proper, this one died before it got to apply to these two ones. So it's just an operator ordering error. I haven't updated the thing that generates test data for the neural net to account for the hierarchies as much as I should. So I'm just gonna accumulate a bunch of problems and do it all at once. So ultimately this will be done automatically, but currently you have to do it the old hard way. Well, not very hard. So what's included in the logs is the information on what order the operators were applied in. So we can see here, first it did object, which was great. And then it did property of, but it did status after that. I don't want that. I want it to do status before property of, because the argument to property of is status. And you can see how the hierarchy didn't work. I just got to fix the training data generator. But we can manually fix this by taking this, and then we just, this is all of the objects, or all of the operators that were thought of when it was determining what operator to do next. And we just have to tell it which one we want it to do, instead of the one it chose, which is status, or property of. So there's this array. Yeah. And we shove this in here, and then we tell it, so this means in this context of these 3 operators, when you see this, we want you to pick status and do that next, instead of property of. Now let's give it a go. So ultimately I'm going to fix the training data generator so it does this, and we don't have to do this, but currently it's not working. So let's give it a run, see what happens. Got a comma probably. Do it. Make it go. Boom, bam, boom. Okay, so that's working now. So now we got the status of the object working. So now we still have one more thing left to do, which is this third part, which is where we actually get the value of the property. But I'm just going to do this. So if we ask what is the status of the object, then that will generate a response string because it just happens to be the way I wrote the knowledge modules. You could write it so the status of the object is a response string too. In fact, I might do that in the future. If it's a top level, the status of the object. Anyway, but now we have to go, what is the status of the object to get it to actually find the response. So this is cool. So it did the status is value. So what happened here is it's just pulling from the base knowledge module the value because we haven't told it how to calculate the value. So we'll come over here and we're going to get this code. And we're going to shove it in our knowledge module in the semantics. And then we'll calculate the value this way. Okay, so 3 maybe, okay. So what do? So let's set the value to value 23 so we can tell if it gets in here. And then the property, I think this can stay the same. Well, maybe I should make it status. I could do equals to. Okay, well, so what types are the object? Well, in my case, the type of the object is, what was it? Weapon. Weapon, and this is the property in the context. So if we look at this, so this is the context going to be process. So the second argument is the property that I want to check for the type. It happens to be in this case. Oh no, they're different. So the property is called object, and I want to check it for the type weapon. And it has to be an evaluate. Let's do this. So if that's the case, then it's going to run this semantic. How does this look weird? There. So it's going to run this semantic, and the semantics should be a list like this. So let's fix that. Okay, let's give that a go. Oops, I had to do what is. Yeah, I think I will change that so it does a response in that case. Whatever. Didn't hit it. Egads, what went wrong? Let me see if I can figure out what went wrong, or I'm restarting the demo yet again. Let's debug it this way. So I upgraded the logging so it says very clearly what generators and statistic and semantics it's applying. So we get a diagnosis here. Semantic applied. No, that's not the right one. This one. Oh yeah, it's getting in the wrong one. So it's getting in this one, is it? Yeah, so it's getting in this one, which is from the properties knowledge module. We don't want to do it to do that. It should be ordered. So at the top it lists the order things are loaded in. So that's right, it should be hitting the crew. So for some reason it's not hitting our semantics in crew. Right, is that what's wrong? Yeah, so this came from the KM property, the 0th one, okay. So it must be something wrong with our check. So let's do this. Let's debug the check. I don't know what's wrong. Yes. Is it weapons? Is that what it is? No. Oh, I didn't define the word phasers. That's what's wrong. Okay. Let's get rid of this junk. Like when I type in the word phasers, I didn't tell it what the word phasers means. So it doesn't have any meaning for the word phasers. So if we look at the debug, look at the debug, and we look for phasers. What? Phaser? What did I type in as my sentence? What is the status of the object? Oh, that's what's wrong. I'm doing the wrong sentence. Well, that's quite the brain malfunction. So this should not work because I didn't define phasers, or did I? Oh, I did define phasers. Oh, right, I forgot I already did that. Anyway, so now you can see it's pulling in our semantic that we wanted. So I made the mistake of typing what is the status of the object, which it doesn't know what I'm talking about, because object doesn't have a status. But if I do what is the status of phasers, it's pulling in this value 23. So what we're going to do is, I guess we'll just pull it out of Enterprise. What is the status of the phasers? So let's load Enterprise. Oh, I forgot about... Oh, I forgot about making a computer character. Well, let's just put it in here to start with, and I'll add the computer separately. I mean, I'm just making this up as I go along anyway. And we'll get it from there. So if enterprise dot weapons dot, I'll just implement it for phasers, and when I get the photon torpedoes working, we can come and do both. There's that phasers. I'll set the value to whatever. Oh, I want to see if it's armed. 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 And if it's not armed, and you could return context here if you want to run through the generation and all that jazz. I'm just getting this going, so we'll just do fun stuff. Now let's give that a go. The status of the phasers is not armed, so that's cool. Oh, so let's try like Sulu. Oh, I noticed there was a bug when I was running through this demo earlier. I noticed there's a bug in Sulu. So when we do node Sulu -q arm the phasers, eyes itchy. If we look at how Sulu's setting up doing this wrong. So when I implemented it before, I actually had Sulu set phasers to true, but it should have actually done phasers.armed is true. So let's fix Sulu. Okay, Sulu.js. So he updated the wrong thing. It should send weapons.phasers.armed is true. Now let's try Sulu. Arm the phasers. There, so now it's set correctly. It was just a bug, and now we'll add a computer character, cp sulu.js to computer.js. Let's just change Sulu to computer. And Sulu computer dit. I guess we can have the computer able to arm the phasers. Anyway. Well, we could do these later. Okay, so I'll just do, so what are we doing? We're doing computer, so we want to make sure computer works. And Node computer minus Q, what is your name? Just make sure it's computer we're talking to. Yay, it's computer. My name is computer. Now we'll just check this. What is the status of the phasers? And again, this is just getting inherited from the knowledge module. Look at that, not armed. Okay, so now let's go add this computer to the game. Da 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 da. Boom. Farther in there. Computer. Node game. Did I do? Oh, I'll run it in loop mode. Computer, what is the status of the phasers? The status is not armed. Sulu, arm the phasers. Oh yeah, so I forgot, I think in the previous demos I didn't make the generators printed out nice. So we'll do that in the future because I'm doing this now. Computer, what is the status of the phasers? Boom! Yeah, so it worked like a charm, huh? I hardly wrote any code. Reuse the knowledge modules. I'm hoping to have way more knowledge modules in the future. Like, yeah, so that's this demo. And so for the next demo, what we're going to do is implement the tell one. So we can go, tell me when. We'll implement this one. So we can go, tell me when the phasers are armed. And what we'll do is go, computer, tell me when the phasers are armed. Yeah, I guess in the future I could do, when the phasers are armed, then da 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 da. So I should do that, but I haven't implemented that yet. Anyway, we're going to do tell me when the phasers are armed. Sulu arm the phasers, then the computer should just tell us the phasers are armed right away. So that's the end of that demo.